Alrighty, my friends, how are you? It's been a little while since I've had a YouTube clip, and I thought I would post one, especially after a very nice road trip. And I was inspired to create this video blog because I've been getting questions about traveling light, and also because I lost some items on my trip. I lost some guidebooks. And, I think what's important is, and I'm going to show you this right here. I got a guidebook right here. All right. So I think what's important is it's important to travel with things that you need, but then also figure out a way to travel very light. So what I did on this recent trip was I spent time traveling throughout the United States, the eastern part, and then through Canada, the eastern part. And I did it by car. And I thought of, I lost guidebooks, I lost a diary, journal, basically, agenda. I lost some things on the road, some clothing items. I'm not exactly sure what happened, how they disappeared. I went into a parking garage one time, and I don't know, a couple times, and one person had the key. I'm not saying anything, but could have left it there, could have left it on the side of a road. It could have, God knows what happened. But anyway, what I think is important, so I decided to ask myself after interviewing other people, how do I travel perpetually and travel light? So not that, you have to travel all the time, but when you travel, what do you need? And so what I did was I investigated, and I came up with a solution to where this is not going to happen again, to where I'm not going to lose anything. But I had like 10 bags and all these things in my car and in my trunk, and I said, different things, and you can lose track of things very easily. But what I suggest is, and this is a police tactical bag, okay, and you can get it on Amazon.com. I'm not endorsing any particular brand, although this one is called Explorer, and so you can see that it's used for tactical gear. Now, why I recommend this, guess what it's rated at? You won't even believe it. 550 pounds. So not that you're going to go bowling while you're traveling, but you could put all of the bowling balls. This means you could put all of the bowling balls if they could fit in here and they wouldn't break the stitching. So it's double stitched, a very heavy polyester, nylon, and canvas kind of mesh. And look at how many zippers you have, and you can see the stitching. Look at it's a very heavy kind of zipper too. You have tons of pockets, and something like this would be a good carry-on. But that's not the main reason you want to have it. You want to also have, what I decided was to buy this, and this just came in. So what you have here is a backpack. So, they go all the way, from what I understand, a lot of them go to even 90 cubic. And I think this is 65 cubic liters, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of what you can pack. And look at this. Again, this is military grade. And you have all these pockets, and this is all you need. Now, you might be saying, what are you talking about? Well, let's talk about what to put in there, okay? So you have essentially those, if you look at the big backpack, let's talk about what you can put in here. So what you have here is basically your clothing items and your hygiene stuff. So let's say you need to stop along a roadside somewhere. Pull out your toothbrush, brush your teeth, cologne, anything like this. You have a pocket for anything else you want to put in there, maybe a poncho, you can do something like that. Water bottle, look at this. So this is designed for military use, but that I just decided something that's nice, and not only that, you have all these, padding sections, and this, you also want to make sure that the torso measures from here, right here, from this top vertebrae, down to this tailbone, right above, this tailbone right here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is important right here. So then what happens is then the backpack can fit comfortably that way. So you can put it on like this, and obviously you would have the strap like this, and then clamp it on. So this obviously fits, and so you want to look at your height, you want to look at how it fits for your torso, and then you just have it like this. Now what you have to keep in mind is this setup is good if you are going to be traveling and going to go do Eurorail trips, or you're going to take a bus or train. So I interviewed travelers, and here's what I found out. A lot of them travel very light. A lot of them just have a backpack, so they would have something like this. There was a person that I met in Canada that traveled with 5 bags and she biked across. I met another person who biked, she had 2 bags. I met some people who were driving, some people who took the bus, some people who took the train, some people who flew. And the thing is, what I've learned is go light. And I can't, you want to take all the creature comforts with you, but let's talk about that next. So what do you need? So then the question becomes, okay, so you have your clothing, your hygiene products, you have your poncho, you have, the funny thing is, I would recommend wearing shirts that are very easy to wear and very small and can be rolled up very simply. You're going to take a lot of clothing items that you won't even use. Also that big backpack is good for shoes and anything that you can be separated from while you're on a flight, in the train, anything like that. But this bag right here is awesome, and I'll explain why. So I decided to get a matching bag, and I believe this backpack is made by, oh boy, I don't even remember. But you could find it if you put beige military backpack on Amazon.com. And again, I'm not endorsing it necessarily, but it looks amazing. So then you have everything here. So what I did was I lost a journal, as you know, so I went ahead and bought some more. So your travel log or your travel journal can go right here with the pen. Then comes the question of whether you get a Kindle, iPad, Galaxy, guidebook, or whatever. Now this is how I would think about it, and I'll explain this. So I've had this book for years, okay, my South America guide. So, I used to live in Brazil. It's very effective, and I'm going to go to Argentina and Machu Picchu, Peru, and I'm going to see some more sites in South America. And this book would be great. So you could slip in this book like this, all right, and you could see I was struggling with that. So I could put my guidebook and I'm done. But then the thing is, this is where you have the challenge. Do you want to have 10 guidebooks for all the different countries of a place you're going, like a continent you're visiting? Or do you feel that just one guidebook is all you need? And that's where you have to ask yourself what to do. So now I've talked to people about this. Some people believe you should have one guidebook, and then you should, and I spoke to my father who's traveled to 190 countries. And I've only been to 25, so I'm hoping to catch up. But one thing that he does is he uses an iPad device, and then he believes in having a backup. He loves the Rick Steves series. So what I did is I went to the bookstore today, and everybody's going to differ on this. They're going to have, you have the Insight Guide, you have the Lonely Planet, you have Berlitz, you got all different kinds in the Eyewitness series even. So I got something in my eye, excuse me. So one of the things that I recommend is to get the one that appeals to you. Forget about what anybody else tells you. Because I remember when I originally purchased this some years ago, what I liked was the history, the visual layouts, and everything like this. But this has gotten slammed. This guidebook, some people aren't happy with it, or they'll use it as an adjunct to Lonely Planet. Same thing with the Eyewitness series, and those are the ones that I lost, by the way. They're really good, though. My advice is if you're going to be traveling to a country and visiting a lot of cities, I would get the guidebook, the physical guidebook, and I wouldn't buy too many of them, and then I would get the city books on Kindle or something like that. So I'm going to buy a small Kindle or something like that and then load everything onto it, or maybe an iPad. I haven't decided yet. So I've talked to a lot of people. Another thing that I recommend too is you could buy maybe a small laptop like a MacBook Air, like an 11-inch or 13-inch. 13-inch, I read some reviews. They said some people have gone 11 hours for the battery life. For the MacBook Air 11-inch, you can get 9 hours, I heard, and Apple says 9 hours across the board. And then the iPad, the newer ones, they say have 9 hours as well. So the thing is, you want to pack maybe your camera, your travel journal, your documents, your passport, everything like that. Money on your person, and maybe your passport, I should be careful and say on your person as well. And so this bag you've got to keep in close proximity. You don't want to leave this unattended. I actually heard from a friend who lost some valuable items also. And I mean, you can accidentally leave something and it can be unpleasant. By the way, this goes in the backpack, and these are shoe coverings. So I recommend packing different shoes for, like your slippers, dress shoes if you need them, for restaurants, going into museums, going into the consulate, as some people would say. And look, you can color code them by having different ones that are like this. And then the other thing you want to have, I know this sounds crazy, is so you want to have your computer, you want to have a Kindle or e-reader, or you can do, some people do everything on the computer. You want to have your guidebooks, you want to have your journals, your agenda. So you want to have that, and then I also recommend like a small legal pad or something to jot down your to-do lists. So you have your to-do lists here. Then, you want to have any backup batteries, anything that you feel you need. There's a pouch. You could even put a drink here. But the thing is, go slim. So if you're going to be, it depends on how long you're traveling. But the piece of advice that I'm getting from everybody, and what I've been doing in my own research, is to pack light, and then also, this is one other thing, pack in compartments. And what I mean by that is, you can, depending on how you're packing, let me show you. I got a whole list of, I'm going to show you different packing devices right here. Okay, let me show you what I have here. So these are really good. These are called Eagle Creek cubes. And they're packing cubes. And what you can do is you can load your underwear and socks and whatever you want to do and then pull it out here. What's nice is you can put whatever you need right away on top. So that, let's say you get to a hostel or you go to a hotel and you don't want to pull out everything. You're not probably going to be doing that anyway. But you want to maybe have just access to change your underwear, t-shirts, socks, whatever. You could even have gym gear in one. Whatever you want to do, you can pull it out very quickly. Now, what some people have done, and what I actually paid somebody to do before my last trip, was to pack the bags. I ended up not really using them for too long, but so in other words, pack 6 or 7 days for the week. So have an outfit in each one. Isn't that a great idea? So what you can do is you can, I mean, it's kind of expensive to have all these cubes, but you can buy them on Amazon, or you can buy them in sets and colors. And so what you do is you load up days, and you pull out one day, and then you put it in, and then you take it out. Now, another thing that I did is I ordered a laundry bag. And so you can put like it's a green laundry bag, and you can roll it up and stick it in one of the side compartments here. So you gotta have that. And then another thing that I have, although I don't have it right here, I bought these Tide packing cubes, or not packing cubes, laundry packets. And so you can throw 1 or 2 of them in the laundry. So actually that's how I traveled, and you can stick some of them in maybe a laundry compartment as well. So then, let me show you some other examples of things you might need. So you can have a packing cube with the steamer. I don't see anybody with the steamer. And I bought one at Target. The rule is if you can buy it on the road and you didn't pack it, or it's something you have to replace anyway, then why wouldn't you do that? So this is a steamer, and this is really nice. Let me show you this. It's a little bit expensive, but it's nice if you're going to need to, let's say you don't have an ironing board, and you don't want to risk, doing it on a bed anyway, because there might be a fire hazard. But this is what is really nice. You load it with water. It doesn't have a huge compartment, right? Just this small one. You see that right there? And this is called Rowenta, the Ultra Steam. And I think it was like $60 at Target. So I'm not, again, endorsing it necessarily, but it's very good, very effective. And you can buy what you would like, but that's not a bad one. So you put it in a packing cube, make sure the water's drained out, and maybe a side compartment in your backpack. Then you have a laptop case, which can be good, but there's also a messenger bag. And let me show you a messenger bag real quickly, what that looks like. So the messenger bag is very good if you want to have your laptop, your pens, papers, envelopes, and like a mini office. And you want to put that either, depending on the size, either in this bag or separate from it. But again, don't pack too much stuff. So if you can fit it in there, that's great. If it's a small notebook or a notepad or something like that, then just put it in here. But again, you're already at 3 bags if you do that. But this is nice too, because it keeps your computer, adapter, pens, papers, maybe a small notepad. It's your portable office right here. And I love this kind. This brand is the Swiss Gear brand, all right? And I got it from Best Buy a few years back, in 2011 in Florida. So that's very good. And then you also have an option of packing with this. And the brand here is Incase. I really like this one. So you could just, if you didn't want the messenger bag and you wanted to pack the laptop, you can just go ahead and plop that in that carry-on bag. Now, another thing that I recommend, I know you'll laugh, but for all the guys that are watching this, I got a cordless hair set. Now you might be a trimmer set. Now you might be wondering what this is. A trimmer and clipper set. So what I want to say is this is really, really nice, as you can see, because it has a trimmer, all right, which is battery operated. And then there's a clipper set which you can charge. And I think I don't know if there's still charge in it. No, see, oh yeah, there is. So that's still from the trip. And this is good because you don't know where you're going to be. If you're at a hostel and let's say there's no outlet in the bathroom or there's a mirror in front of you and you have a garbage can there. So this will save you, and it's by Wall. I think they make some of the best. Oster also makes a great clipping set, but I think they make among the best types of clippers, okay? And so then, again, you're already bulking up. So you could put this on the bottom compartment of your backpack, all right? And then I would recommend something by Amazon. Again, I'm not in, if they want to have me endorse their products, I would love to, but I order a lot of things. I think Amazon has some great products. But this is like a money compartment. You can put your passport, your documents, any kind of Kindle device, depending on the size. And Amazon makes this. And you can just, Amazon Basics is what the name of it is. You can't see it there. But you can slip that in a compartment right here. See, that can go right in this first compartment. You see that? Can go right here or inside. But the advantage of that is, again, if you're going to, there's those wallets that you can wear on your body. It also depends on where you are. So I would be careful, though. But it's still useful for some documents. Then you have this other type of cube. And there's two other types of cubes I'll show you. This is very good for, like, you want to line up 6 or 7 items. And you want to just, maybe you have white socks, dress socks, pantyhose. I have no idea what you're into. Maybe your bikinis, your swimsuits. And then look at this. You can hold it, and it can be something you can pull out as you're unpacking your bag. Undershirts even. And then there's another type that I got, which is from Eagle Creek. And this is a case that allows you, check this out, to hang it in the closet. Isn't this amazing? So you can hang this in the closet. You can put your underwear here, socks, t-shirts. You can zip it up. So I've actually done this. When I went to Nashville, not recently, but last year I did this, any different types of trips. It all depends on what you want. And let me show you another thing that you can use. Let's say you're flying for a weekend trip, or you're going on a business trip. What I have is this, and you have the pleather version of this too. What it is a day pack. It's a lot of people call it the weekender, right? So what you have here is you basically have some pockets here, and you have anything for suits. So let's say you're going to a conference. Sometimes I go to conferences. And you can put your suit in here, socks, tie, everything. So it keeps it very nice and neat, and it has a rollable, extendable handle that you can just you can place this on the ground, and then there you go, and that's everything. So you could take this and maybe a carry-on bag, maybe the messenger bag for your laptop. So I think the thing you have to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of your travel? How long are you going? And you don't have to use everything that I showed you, but you want to be prepared and you want to have fun. Get the color you want, because it'll be easy too when you spot it. Oh, if you're going in an airplane and then you check one of the bags in, then you can look for it. It'll be easier because if it's a distinct color. I mean, I don't know how many people are running around with beige backpacks, but it should be something that can take a beating, and maybe you have all the clips kind of tied in so nothing catches. And some people, I've even seen, what they'll do is they'll laminate their bags at the airport, and then once they go through check-in, I think there's a way to do it, I don't know, with the new regulations. But that way too, if you seal it, or some people even ship theirs home, I don't know. There are different options that you have to transport your bags. But the thing is, stay organized, stay lean, use a list, make the decisions between having, the guidebooks here it is. The guidebook, all right? Do you want the guidebook like this, or do you want to have a mixture of this and you maybe an electronic device? My opinion is on that, there's no right or wrong answer. There's some people that refuse to have guidebooks. And I lost mine, as you know. Those are gone. But one of the things I would recommend, if you do travel without a guidebook, make sure that you know where you're going online so you can make your reservations. Some people talk about going and putting things onto Word. I kind of did that. What I did was every city that I visited, so here's the layout. I did Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, and there was a graduation I attended. That was the primary reason. And then I decided, well, I'm near Canada, so I went to Montreal, Quebec City, Ottawa, back through Montreal, and then back to where I am in Ohio. And what I think is important is you want to pack light because then you're going to keep taking your bag out, and going to different places. I stayed in 8 places in 6 cities. So, that's a lot of, unpacking, packing, make it quick. So the advantage of having your city guides in the Kindle, or you can have a Kindle app and download it to anything, is the advantages that you can pull up, okay, I can do the research the day before. Now, what I would do is I'd go to the cities. You can go to the tourist office, information center, and a lot of times I would just go to wherever I was interested in going to. So Montreal, I wanted to see the Notre Dame Basilica. I didn't go inside. I tried to go inside one time, and they were having a service, and they didn't let tourists in. I walked around it several times, and you got to have your own experience with it. I went to the Jazz Fest. I, did a lot of things in New York as far as seeing the art museum that they have, various art museums they had. They had the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which was incredible. But there are a lot of things that I didn't even, I just kind of looked online and I saw things to do in New York, things to do in Montreal. And you can kind of figure it out instead of stressing yourself out and saying, well, I have to see everything. Another thing that I recommend, by the way, and I went to there's a bookstore nearby, and I bought some DVDs. So Travel to France. I've already been to France, but it's actually not as an adult. So as a teenager was the last time I went. I went a couple of times. So last time with my father in the 90s. So there's Travel to Germany, and Travel to Italy. So if you're a visual learner like myself, then traveling can be exciting if you know, oh, I'm going to see this site. But you know what I realized? And there's a really good book I'm going to show you. You're going to love this. I bought this. Check this out. I bought 100 Cities of the World. And this is nice because I have the larger coffee table book of this, but you have a DVD, which is 60 minutes long. And then you got a book with 100 cities of the world. So it gives you 1 2-page descriptions. Obviously, it's not going to replace a guidebook or online information, but it can get your appetite whet as far as where you're going to travel to. So, for example, I think that the main thing is to have excitement about where you're going to go. There are a lot of places you don't care to go, so don't worry too much about them. Where would you want to spend your money? Where would you want to spend your money? Where would you want to go? So one of the trips I'm planning in the future is to go to Liverpool, England. All right, I think Liverpool, England would be a lot of fun in retracing the steps of the Beatles. There's actually 4 guidebooks I looked online for through Amazon. So I'm going to order 1 book, and then I'm going to do a Eurorail, and I might even have a couple friends join me, and we're going to go from, I'm still planning it, but maybe from England through France, through Germany, going through some of these other places, maybe end up in Turkey, and then maybe go through to Portugal or fly to Egypt and then to Portugal and then fly home. So the thing is, you got to decide how long are you going to go, what are you going to take with you, and what kind of experience do you want to have. So that's important. But I think, don't worry about seeing everything. I mean, see what you would think is worth seeing wherever you're going, and then design it by your lifestyle. This is the one thing I think a lot of people don't consider. I talked to so many different people on the trip that were doing so many things, like from the hostel, in hotels, in different places. Some people were hiking the night before. So some people, not everyone stayed in traditional types of settings. Also, people did different things. Some people would go to nightclubs, some people would go to bars, some people would go to coffee shops, some people would go exploring museums, some people didn't care to do any of those things. And you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do in the places? And I think in every city that you travel to, at least 3 to 4 major things. A lot of times people will study abroad. I know when I lived in Spain, they would go to Morocco or they would go to other places. I saw 9 cities in Spain and I didn't go to Morocco. And I kind of regret not having gone. I didn't go to Lisbon in Portugal. And now in this coming trip, whenever that's planned, maybe this coming year, who knows, I would like to go to Lisbon. So I know enough about the culture. I speak Portuguese because of having lived in Brazil. And so there's going to be more excitement. I can use the language. Another thing that's very important is, I didn't mention this, you want to have a guidebook. So one of the things you want to have is, like, I'm going to go to France, one of the countries I'm going to visit, and I bought this in Quebec City. It's a Lonely Planet French handbook. And it was 10 Canadian dollars. All right. You can have this, but there are a lot of apps online that you can check out for your smartphone. You can check it out for your tablet, and I would highly recommend that you have that. Another good site is Google Translate. One of the blogs that I help with, there are two, they're web pages, all right, and they use Portuguese and they use Spanish, and one of the things that I use is Google Translate to make sure everything's correct. It's not 100%, but it can help you. Let's say you have your laptop, you need to pull up some expressions or rehearse something, you can practice the day before. You're going to go to a pharmacy. Now it doesn't replace professional advice, but at least you can kind of have a dialogue going, or maybe the grocery store, or something like that where you feel the language would be hard and try to figure out how to pronounce it. But again, that's basically all I have to say. I mean, this is part one, and I will come up with another video later on. But again, what we covered in this video was basically the different types of packing devices and bags and storage units, just to pack into your backpack and carry on, and how to travel light. We talked about books you might want to carry, and maybe we talked a little bit about how you want to prepare for your trip. All right, watching videos, kind of seeing the places you want to see, look online, word of mouth. Once you get there, you'll have a lot of locals also help you, and that's kind of what happened to me. Once I was there, people would tell me, oh, did you see that? Or at the hostels, when you go to different hostels, they'll usually have sightseeing tours that are free, and so that'll help you. Hostelworld.com is very good for that, by the way. Not that I'm necessarily endorsing that over anything else. There's also a backpacker's website and different kinds of things like that. So pick the guidebook that makes sense for you when you do purchase guidebooks, if you are going that route. Like I'm more of a visual learner, so I love the Eyewitness series, though it's a little bare bones, and the Insight Guides. Berlitz has a lot of visuals. I really like the Lonely Planet. I was wondering what all the hype was about. I was reading online that a lot of people use Lonely Planet. But I have the phrase book now, and I might buy some more guidebooks. They have 800-page guidebooks. They're updated. They have some more coming out for 2014. So you might want to check those out. But again, remember, if you buy the guidebooks for the continent, get the cities or countries, download them for your Kindle. So that way you can pull up your Amazon Kindle, or you could have an iPad or some other sort of e-reader or Galaxy, and you have the Kindle app and you pull it up, and now you're in the place. And some people like the guidebook as backup, and then they have their e-reader. And then the final point that we talked about was, establishing maybe a time frame, and that can also help you as far as figuring out how much to pack. And I'll go into more detail in another video about that, but I was just giving you some basic ideas about preparing for a trip, how to pack, what to pack, and it'll vary for you. Don't worry about what other people tell you. What do you want to bring, and how are you going to travel? That's another thing. Actually, the real last point was, are you going to travel by bus, plane, car, and the importance of traveling in units. You don't want to have too many things because you're going to be getting out of your car or vehicle, or bus, whatever it is, train, and you're going to be going back, and you want to make sure you're packed up and ready to go in record time. We also talked about the importance of making sure that whatever you pack is an easy reach, and it makes sense functionally. What do you need functionally? And again, you have your big backpack, you have a carry-on, some sort of, or a handbag, and it could be a day pack too. Some people prefer that. And then you want to have something on your person, so as your, all your documents are on you. And then you want to pack light and you want to pack safe. So I hope you enjoyed this particular video, and we will have more videos, but this is the first in a series of videos on traveling light, preparing for your travels, and also figuring out which equipment to buy and how to travel. All right, hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to any feedback you have. And if you want a video on any particular topics which are related to this, let me know. Thanks so much. Have a great night.